Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming back to our second edition of Blue Couch Yoga. If you tuned in yesterday, you kind of got the the basic understanding of why I'm calling this Blue Couch Yoga. Anyway, on with that. I've just returned from my morning walk, and probably one of the questions I get asked most often is, when is the best time to practice yoga? Right when I get up, right before I go to bed, in the middle of the day, when I'm feeling stressed out? And the answer to that question is yes. I mean, you can practice yoga anywhere, anytime. You don't need a whole lot of space. So if you're unfamiliar with the word yoga, that is a word that means yoke or union. And you and I are always yoking up with something, right? We're always attaching our thought, or our thought is following something. This morning, my thoughts were following love. That's my favorite thing to follow. It helps me just kind of relax when I'm really struggling with maybe something internal. So since I've just returned from my walk this morning, I do recommend a light stretch before physical activity and then a deeper stretch after your physical activity. So that's one reason why I wanted to just go ahead and get this out there today. Maybe you've returned from your walk this morning as well, and you're looking for something to complement. Now, that yummy black stuff that comes in a mug that usually has something that means something to you on it, yeah, that stuff. I love coffee. Coffee's one of my favorite things, but it is a stimulant. Even decaffeinated coffee has a small amount of caffeine, so I try not to do any coffee just before yoga, because I don't want to stimulate my body. I'm trying to wind it down and really just get in touch with me. So without further ado, find yourself in a comfortable sitting position, whether it's Sukhasana or cobbler's pose or one of the postures we were in yesterday, and let's just focus on our breath. So again, one hand on your belly. As you breathe in, I want you to feel your abdomen expand, and as you breathe out, you feel it contract, and your mouth can be open or closed. That's your personal preference, whatever you enjoy more. Okay. So deep breath in. Let the breath linger inside of you for a moment, and then exhale. Five more breaths. If your mind starts to wander, try to bring yourself back into this present moment. Are you already feeling calmer? If you're not done with your 10 breaths, just hit your pause button and finish off your 10 breaths, and then come back when you're ready. So I'm going to sit in potted palm, which just means my hands are cupping my knees. It doesn't mean that that's where you have to go with your hands. Your hands can be resting in your lap or on the floor, however you're comfortable. We're going to work with the neck and shoulders a little bit. You know, because it's in the morning and I haven't been up all that long, you know, maybe you slept awkward, or you're traveling somewhere, you're on somebody else's couch or bed, and it is a uncomfortable thing for your neck. So we're going to release some stress and tension from our neck on purpose. So when you breathe in, you're just going to raise your shoulders up, and when you breathe out, you're going to lower them down on purpose. And let's just do that another 3 or 4 times if you would. Breathe in as you lift, breathe out as you lower. I'm rolling my shoulders slightly backwards and down, because I want the shoulders to go down in their little sockets where they need to go. Breath in and breath out. And then I'm going to lift my gaze. I'm not going to look straight over my head for myself. I'm just going to look to where the ceiling intersects with the wall. Breathing in, and then when I breathe out, I'm going to look down towards my belly button or towards my feet. Let your head become heavy. And try that 3 or 4 more times. Just breathe in when you lift up. You can even slide your jawbone forward if you want to, like you have an overbite. If you want to stretch your neck even more. And while your head is down, we're going to turn our head and look towards our right hip bone, and then towards our left hip bone. I just want to feel the sensations in my neck. Okay, and now we're going to do neck rolls. Listen, if your neck isn't comfortable doing the roll, the full circle, you keep doing what we were just doing, rocking the ear from side to side. So you're going to exhale as you come down, inhale as you come up. We're going to go both directions. And let's do each direction twice. Okay, when you're ready, roll your shoulders back and lift your gaze. Okay, so putting your left hand on the floor and your right arm is going to come over your head. Breathe out and breathe in, right? Breathe out. Straighten the arm. One more each side. Breathe out. Okay, and relaxing the shoulders. All right, so to get on with the stretches for after our run, we're going to go ahead and stretch your right leg out towards me. Now, again, pointing and flexing is up to you. This is a reverse hurdler stretch. This is probably going to be easy for just about anyone. In a moment, I'll take you through the hurdler stretch, and that may not be for you. So here is a basic example of 2 different ways to stretch your body, similar but not exactly the same way, to help achieve some of the similar benefits. So we're going to lean forward. I'm not concerned if you can reach your toe. Okay, if you can, go ahead. If you can't, floor or shin is okay. Then we're going to take those deep belly breaths in. So check in once again and notice to see if you're breathing diaphragmically. Do you feel your abdomen expand against your waistband? Okay, if the answer is no, if you feel that in your chest or maybe you're holding your breath, just check in, see how you're doing, okay? Now, if you want to, you can play some music in the background. I have some really nice music that is not licensed to anyone that I could play in the background, But I think you might be more comfortable if you choose your own music, whatever that sounds like to you. It could be anything that you find calming and relaxing. Okay, and we're going to use all those vertebrae. Once again, we're coming up. Okay, so sit up nice and tall. Okay, and I'm going to turn just a little bit so you can see my feet even more. And as I sit up, I'm going to make sure I'm on my sitting bones. We talked about those yesterday. And I'm going to point and flex my feet. So I'm going to point my feet away from my body and then towards my body. Okay, so a little ankle flexion extension. That feels pretty good. Breathing in, breathing out. Yeah. Okay, now as you're finishing up with that, I want you to go ahead and take that left leg straight out in front of you. Okay, and then we're going to drop into forward fold. Now, obviously I'm on carpet. If you have a yoga mat or maybe you're on the hard floor, I'm going to recommend that you get a yoga mat that is thicker rather than thinner. If you're on a hard floor, of course, there's obvious reasons for that. And just in general, I like to purchase yoga mats that have a substance called Microban or MicroClean. It keeps the mat from growing bacteria. You know, maybe you're in a hurry, you don't always have time to clean your mat, and that's something that is pretty important, you know, kind of keep those germs at bay. So with or without a mat, probably depends on the flooring, and you do not want to slide. So you may want to test that, see if your feet slide. You can get those little socks with the bumps on the bottom of them. I have quite a few pair of those myself. And we'll take those deep breaths. You can direct your gaze toward your toe or your shin or your knee or anywhere in between there that makes you feel comfy. And on your recovery, roll up using all those vertebrae. Okay? Let's stretch those legs out. And I'm going to turn once again so you can see. All right, you can see the legs there. There may be a bit of a glare. I'll move a little bit. So we're going to go into a hurdler stretch. This, again, this may not be for you. You can go back to reverse hurdler if you need to at any time. Please, please, please respect and honor your body today. Okay? So if you want to go with me into a hurdler stretch, you're going to take your right heel and you're going to curl it up to your backside. And as you're doing this, you're going to come forward. So think about someone getting ready to jump over a hurdle, what stretches, what muscles they might wish to prepare. So you're still going to feel this in your hamstring, right? And then we'll be just kind of dropping down as low as our body says is a good idea. Right? Deep breath. We're ready to roll up. Take a breath in. Coming all the way up. Okay, so why don't we do that same posture on the other side, and you can get there. Sometimes if you turn your knee up and then stretch it out, it's more efficient way of getting into that posture. And so we're gonna I'll turn so you can see my feet. The left heel is gonna be close to your backside and your right leg is extended. And then we'll just drop into forward folds. Right? Deep breath, belly breathing is always good. Come on up, take a breath in. Let's sit into cobbler's pose for a moment. and open the hips while I just give a quick commentary. Oftentimes people will ask me, how long should I hold a certain posture? And if you have not had a trauma to a muscle or a muscle group, let's say you were in a car accident or you've had surgery, or a deep wound, those muscles that have had trauma are going to take longer to relax. Okay, have you ever been riding in the car with someone who's been in a car accident, and a car is, maybe they were broadsided and the car is coming from the side, and every time they see a car from the side, their body has a response. So it takes them a little bit longer to trust and to relax. Could even be years or decades before they're comfortable in a car again, because of the memories stored within the body. So every muscle that we have has got a memory, and it can take up to 2 whole minutes of stretching before those muscles completely relax. So if you have had a trauma or an injury to any of the muscles, your hamstring, your quadriceps, anything that we've been stretching today, please just hit pause if you need to, or come back to those stretches a little bit later, since we're not staying a full 2 minutes into those. So regular muscles that haven't been exposed to trauma or surgery or injury, 15 to 30 seconds. I think the jury's out on that. Some people say 10 seconds, people say 15, 20. So it just kind of depends on when do you feel like, okay, I need to move on to the next one. So that's a really good indication. So the next stretch that we're going to do will be a quadricep stretch from a non-standing position. Okay, so it does require a little bit of balance. You're welcome to use an object to help you. You can be on your forearm, you can be on your hand. Let me show you. Okay, so once you get into that all fours position, you can be here or you can be here. Okay, and then you're gonna take your right leg up, hold onto your foot, and pull it towards your backside. Now I always push my hip bone just slightly forward and then drop my elbow down, so I feel a deeper stretch in my quadricep. Again, please do not feel obligated to stay upright on your left hand. Maybe your wrist is bothering you today, or it's uncomfortable. Okay, so we're just going to take a few more breaths here. Now, on your recovery, go ahead and drop that right knee down and pull back into child's pose. So hips back. We're going to extend our arms forward for today's child's pose. Arms are forward. Your head can be up, your head can be down. Where are you comfortable? Your elbows can be bent or straightened. Personal choice. Okay. We're going to breathe in and come up. Okay. So the other side, again, hands. Maybe I'll do this side on the forearm so you can kind of get an idea about what this looks like as well. So you're going to lift the leg and you're going to curl. You're going to push the hip forward ever so slightly. And we're taking some deep breaths. So again, loose baggy clothes are always a good idea, so nothing is binding or hurting you. Drop the elbow down, push my hip forward. Nice breath. Okay, now as you bring the leg down, if you can, come up to an all fours position, and we're going to roll through cat-cow. So I always exhale into cat and inhale into cow. Let's breathing in. I go from the tailbone to my crown. So I have a hyper flexible lower back, which means that I can do a couple of trick yoga poses, but guess what? It doesn't really benefit me anywhere else in life. So your back and my back are going to have different levels of flexibility.
Hyperflexible means it overflexes. It's kind of like if someone says that they're double jointed.
Well, none of us really have, say, two elbow joints. It's a hyperextension. It's an overextension of the elbow joint when it looks like it's bending the wrong way. All right, so let's make our way back to that cobbler's pose for just a few moments. So the jury is out about hip flexor stretching. There's a gentleman that has some YouTube videos that knows more about the hip flexor than anybody I've ever heard of. His name is Dr. Evan Osar, O-S-A-R, and he probably has some YouTube videos out there, but they believe, he and his wife believe that because of the way that we sit, that our hip flexors are actually open more than we think they are, so that they don't need as much stretching, even if we feel tension in a muscle. Sometimes the tension could be from the muscle being overstretched. It's very interesting if you wanted to look his stuff up. Sometimes instead of traditional pigeon, just about everyone can do the reclined pigeon. And so if you want to join me in reclined pigeon, I think for this episode we'll stick with that because just about anyone can do it. So we're going to be lying down on our back, which is how you lie down, right?
And then you'll cross your right ankle over your left knee, and you'll stretch your left leg up to the sky, and you're going to lock your hands across your left hamstring. Okay. Now, if you don't feel like you're getting enough of a stretch here, you're going to bend your left knee and move your hands across your shin. And you can turn your head up, you can turn your head to the side, but please be sure your shoulders are in a comfortable position. And we'll take some deep breaths here. Okay, as you release, go ahead and lower down, and now you'll cross your left ankle over your right knee and extend the right leg up. Maybe I'll stay here this time so we can have a go with this. You're welcome to move your ankles around. Shoulders are relaxing. You may notice when you're on your back, when you're lying down, even when you're not thinking about it, you're breathing diaphragmically. That's just a natural body response. We all do it. And so we don't have to think about the placement of the breath when we're lying down. Recovery, just give your knees a hug, maybe rock from side to side a little bit, or draw some circles on the ceiling if you want to. All right, so come up however you want to. Breathe in when you lift your head.
Breathe out as you stabilize. This is another episode of Blue Couch Yoga. Thanks for coming back. God bless you. Have a great day.